Welcome back, everybody, to the Filmmaker's Time Chamber. I'm your host, actor, writer, director, Alexander Alioni Jr. Thank you guys so much. Welcome back for episode 5. This week, we shall be reviewing Wes Anderson's Asteroid City. So, as per usual, we'll be diving right into this. So you haven't seen it, go watch it in movie theaters, come back, and we'll watch it because there are going to be spoilers. So, diving right in. Wes Anderson. Being Wes Anderson, the only way I can describe this, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm not sure if anyone else has ever heard of this drink called Malta. It is a malt beverage, and it has a very acquired taste. Now, a lot of people don't like it, and for people like me and my father, we grew to like it. It's a very acquired taste. It's one of those things you find yourself going, like, do I like it? And you find the aftertaste is you find yourself craving it more. And that's the only way I can really, you know, uh, basically describe Wes Anderson's style is a very acquired taste, and it leaves you wanting more. You're like, you don't know if you like it or not. And you find at the end of it that you do, and you want a lot more. And so he has this very specific style of, quick pans and quick delivery of the dialogue and witty lines, and the delivery is so dry. And, you find yourself thrust into this world, once again, spoilers, but it is a meta story within a story. Asteroid City is a play, and you have, your Adrian Brody character, as the writer, and you have this, you have your host, and this whole double narrative going on, and you're introduced to all these different characters, as their, actor characters, and then as their characters in Asteroid City. And so the first half of the movie, you find yourself just trying to figure out what's going on because so much is just thrown at you. And like I said, it's kind of like the acquired taste where I'm like, I don't know if I like this, but by the end, it wraps together beautifully. It's the beautiful depiction in both narratives. Uh, Margot Robbie comes in the non-play black and white sequences and just delivers an iconic, short scene that's just so memorable and so good. And I'm diving off right now. I apologize. Um, but yes, going back to just his very stylized, way of shooting. It's very Wes Anderson, and I don't know if he means it to, but the audience was laughing, and I found myself laughing too, just because of how dry the deliveries and quick flashes of the camera pans. And so I don't know if it was designed to be a comedy, but I myself, as well as the audience, found ourselves laughing throughout. And now going into the actual, as we were discussing, the storyline, yeah, Scarlett Johansson plays an actress in the play, and in the play, she's also an actress, so it's really meta. And she has such great chemistry with Jason Schwartzman's character, Augie, I believe his name is. And oh my God, like my favorite scenes were them two talking through the window, and there was just so much chemistry and tension, and it was just so beautifully done. The dialogue about how they're opening up to each other and about not opening up to each other, and um, yeah, it was so well done and so beautiful. And albeit else, it's strange and odd at times, very much so. The alien and all that stuff is, these the creations by the smart kids. It's strange at times. It is you're trying to figure out what's going on. And it's like I said, you don't see the full picture until you finish it, until you get both narratives crossing over. And you know uh Jason Schwartzman's character Augie, is that's his character's name, but he's an actor who's in love with Adrian Brody's character. And they have this fantastic scene when he's trying to sell this. He's like, I had an idea for this scene, and he puts on the fake beard and stuffs his coat and changes instantly. He has this spotlight, and he delivers this monologue, and it was just perfect. And I clapped, and it was just a great fantastic moment. And initially, like I said, it was hard to wrap my head around what was happening with both narratives because there were just so many characters and the storyline. It was just so much, and I found myself being taking out of the original story of Asteroid City every time we went back into the meta narrative, explaining, the play of Asteroid City with these actors and these, writers and creators. And so, but ultimately it wrapped up beautifully. It really did. And so kudos to the entire crew involved, Wes Anderson, the actors, all of them. Beautiful. Um, of course, we have then the cinematography, which is what Wes Anderson's known for, and these practical sets that they built, the set designs, and all of it was, I mean, it's what he's known for with the French Dispatch and stuff like that, and Budapest Hotel. It's a beautiful style he has. He's very specific, and there's so much clarity to each scene. You find yourself honed in and locked in, and you're not really too sure why. You're trying to figure out what you're honed into, and it's almost, and obviously there's been this whole Wes Anderson style of making the mundane magical, and I think he kind of does that, of a magical simple train ride is magical. It becomes this ethereal thing if you allow it to be, rather than just some hedonistic or hedonistic, I don't know how to pronounce that word, way of living where it's just like day to day and everything, it becomes the same and it's monotonous and it becomes like the rat race. And he finds a way to beautify that where, yes, of course he does have an alien land and all this other stuff, but I don't think the story needed any of that to deliver what it needed to deliver, of this just beautiful interactions of, a father who had just lost his wife and three kids, and he had to break it to his three kids, and they're going to stay with his father-in-law, who he's not really, connected to. They don't have a really good bond. And then, his son's a genius who he doesn't really relate to. And and then of course, then he, finds romance in this famous actress, and then, his son finds romance with her daughter, and there's just so much going on. And one of my favorite parts of the entire movie was one of these smart kids, and I truly believe all the kids are on some way, shape, or form on the spectrum. As someone on the spectrum myself, used to be recognized people on the spectrum, and so, he kept asking, "Do you dare me? Do you dare me? Do you dare me?" And he just kept, even if no one dared him, he would still do it. And so, at one point, his father, played by Liv Schreiber, I hope I'm saying his name right, Liv Schreiber, the guy who played Sabretooth in the Wolverine movies, fantastic actor, also voiced um, Kingpin in Into the Spider Verse. Pardon me. He's the father of this character. Asks his son, why? What does it mean? What's the purpose of it? Why do you have to be dared? And like he just got fed up with it, and he really got dove deep, and he basically almost broke his son, and his son stopped to think, and he expressed himself in such a you know eloquent way of, like, does he even matter if he's not being dared? And it broke down, and it was, long winded, and it was a monologue and delivered so beautifully and so deep and touching, and I resonated with heavily. And it was so impactful that even his father and Steve Carell's character, who's just like the host of the, bed and breakfast place, was like, "I dare you, I dare you." And then he was like, "Do you dare me to climb that cactus?" And they were just like, "No, no, no," immediately. And it was, brought back the comedic, timing of it all. But I'll be damned if that wasn't such a powerful scene. And I need to rewatch this movie. Like, I need to. This is one of those, like I said, it's one of those, acquired tastes that leaves you wanting to go back for more. And so, um, yeah, there's so much to be missed because of how much is going on. And, like I said, you're trying to just process both stories, and the fact that, you know, who they are in the story of Asteroid City is not who they are outside of, in this narrative. And you have to learn both of them. And it's a really interesting journey because there are so many characters. And yeah, what a visual treat. What a, a screenwriting treat. Um, yeah, kudos to everyone involved in this entire project. Um, like I said, the acting, stacked cast. Wes Anderson has his usual stacked cast of people, from, as I said, Scarlett Johansson to um, Steve Carell to Tom Hanks to, there's a who's, Liv Schreider, Matt Dillon. I can't even think of all the people in this freaking movie. It's amazing. Kudos to everyone. Uh, I, I I have to admit, as a kid, I probably wouldn't have liked this movie. Um, I don't think it's meant for kids. I'm just saying, as a personal thing, it's funny to see how you grow as a person, because as an adult, I really enjoyed it. I really did, and I know myself really well, and I know myself well enough to know that I wouldn't have enjoyed it as a kid. So it's good to see, you know, it's good to see when we grow, our taste grow with us, and so yeah, like I said, when I first started the first half of the film, I had no idea how it was going to go, what I was going to rate it. But after everything, I have to give it a solid 4.5 stars out of 5 stars. It just delivered. It delivered on so many places. The reason I don't give it a perfect 5 is just because I felt like the initial interactions with the other meta storyline, it was the double narratives. The timing wasn't perfect. Like I said, it kind of pulled me out, but then it wrapped up perfectly. Even so much so that um, I can't think of his name. One of the characters who plays the fake host of the show, Asteroid City, from Breaking Bad, famous guy, plays Walter White. Um, he's like, he comes into one. He's like, "Is this not my scene?" And they're just like, "No." And so they wrapped it up together beautifully at the end. So, like I said, almost perfect. There's nothing wrong with a 4.5. I genuinely am very happy and pleased with this movie. I want to see it again. I'm impressed. I am blown away. I am just I'm in awe of and I saw some of the behind the scenes videos of how much faith these big time actors have. Someone like a Tom Hanks who's older than William Dafoe, who's older than Wes Anderson, who's been around longer and might be considered bigger depending who you ask, you know, are so receptive and so, understanding that there's a dual relationship, and it just shows a maturity level of all these big actors. Like I said, Scarlett Johansson as well, just being so like, what is your vision? Let's match your vision, because he's so stylized and so specific that if an actor tries to run away with it'll take away from his, this whole thing of a vibe, and it'll turn into this something that it's not supposed to be. So it's a beautiful thing to see, collaboration at its finest, at its core, of these creators and artists, you know, working together to make sure that, the head person, Wes Anderson, is key. He makes sure that he's the director, writer, and producer, so he can have full control. He's at the top, and it's something I aspire to become. Once again, as a small time, filmmaker myself, I really am impressed, and I aspire to have that level of control and creation, where you have these, like I said, these big people underneath you, and they want to, you're so good at what you do that they want to help you do that as well, instead of, like I said, trying to, maybe steal the show or add their ideas, or, this, I feel like my character would do this. It's, what do you think this character would do? And there's so much respect for that, and I have so much respect for all the parties involved for getting this created and showing once again how beautiful art can be. Art is a way of telling a story, and yeah, thematically, this was a treat all around, and I highly recommend it. Highly recommend numerous watches. I came into this with only one watch. Probably should have watched it twice. I will watch it twice. Um, but yes, so I can't say any more. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have an amazing week. Keep your eye out for more content. Remember, this isn't just reviews. We'll be putting out more content via community, via avatar, via short films, and of course, more reviews as well. So, y'all have a wonderful week, and thank you again so much.